here with Fergus Wilson, one of the largest private landlords in the UK. And Fergus started 22 years ago, roughly speaking. And Fergus has kindly come up with 5 of his top landlord tips. So Fergus, what have you got at number 1?
Number 1, very topical. Do not buy a property, be it flat or a house, in the floodplain.
Yeah, make that part of your due diligence.
Yeah. Now, if you think you're going to buy it and you think you're going to get funding from a mortgage company, forget it. They are not idiots. They will not give you any money, give you any mortgage. Mm-hmm. In addition, you won't get insurance.
Correct.
So forget it. Traditionally, you're interested in making your money when you exit. You must have an exit strategy.
Yeah.
And of course, you appreciate that you have to pay capital gains when you exit. And there are various ways of reducing it, but you're only really playing with it. You've got acquisition fees, you've got disposal fees, but basically, whatever the rate is, you've got to pay it. Now, really, you get your best increase in value in houses, not in flats.
Yes.
If you have flats, you're probably going to get a better rental return, and it's a trade-off. Do you have a better rental return and all the headaches that go with flats, or do you have a quieter life and get less rental return, but you get more money when you sell up? Now, what you need, in my view, is a high volume of low-hassle properties, which are houses, rather than the low volume of high hassle properties.
Right. So flats get the thumbs down from
me,
Fergus. Yeah. Well, and from me, I will only ever buy houses outside of London. Again, I think that the service charges on flats also really do bite into the cash flow. So that's another reason they're not so popular. And what have you got at tip number 3?
Number 3, HMOs. Mm-hmm. I have never had an HMO. I don't want an HMO. Don't want to hear about them. They serve a function in the community. But the problem with an HMO is you've got very, very limited capital gain. When you go to sell an HMO, who are you going to sell it to? Only another landlord, and they are a right mercenary bunch. They don't want to spend any money if they can avoid it. So bear in mind, you might get a lot of hassle, and you might get a lot of rent, but you're not going to get a lot of profit. Bear that in mind.
Not good for the amateur landlord who's very busy with another job and so on and so forth. High maintenance, high risk.
Yeah, leave it. Give it a miss. Thumbs down.
Thumbs down for that. Yeah. Isn't that number 4?
Number 4. Yeah. Well, look. Number 4 is read all you can. Look everything up on the internet. It's easy these days. Look up property tribes. See what they've got to say. And also join your sort of local landlords association.
Yep.
I used to be the chairman of Hastings Landlords Association. I used to be the chairman of Tunbridge Wells, and we're going back to the mid-90s. And they were taken over. We all amalgamated along the south coast, made the Southern Private Landlords Association. That then amalgamated with the National Landlords Association. But get yourself in, because apart from getting various trading discounts, you've got sort of the advice situation, which they've got there. Sometimes they have various packages and arrangements with mortgage companies and so forth.
And it helps you to be a compliant landlord, which is very important.
So get your paperwork spot on.
Yeah. So we've got the Residential Landlords Association or the National Landlords Association. They're the 2 big landlord associations, and they do lots of events around the country that are often free to attend. So that's a good one. And where are we now? Number 5?
Well, number 5 is this. You need cartloads of common sense to make a fortune. Now, everyone gives you advice. It's nice and free. Unfortunately, some of the advice isn't very sound. Now, really, when you select your tenants, unless you're using agents, then make a judgment about that tenant. But do remember that you cannot judge a book by its cover. I have had the odd tenant, and my first reaction was, God help me, who turned out to be an absolute brilliant tenant. And I've had good-looking people on the face of it, prima facie, look very, very good, and they haven't been very, very good. Learn as you go along. Learn from your mistakes, so it's better not to make the mistakes to start with. Better to learn from other folks' mistakes. Listen to the Landlords Association. Listen to property tribes. View property tribes on the on the website. You can also view it on YouTube. But really, at the end of the day, use some common sense. But remember, there is a property shortage, so the only way property is going to go value-wise is upwards. Because there's a property shortage, the only way rents are going to go is upwards. When you have a situation of 20 houses and 19 people after them, the rent goes down. When you have 20 houses and 21 people after them, the rent goes up. It is an auction situation. What do you do about it? Well, it's not what I'm going to do about it, Dave. It's what are you going to do about it?
Absolutely brilliant. Well, thank you so much for sharing those tips, Fergus. That's coming from 22 years of experience of being a landlord. And
knowledge of a lifetime, dear Oscar Wilde.
Absolutely, and I'm sure you've seen it all. So thank you very much for being part of the Property Tribe. We really enjoyed having you, Fergus. Thank you.
My pleasure.